Joined here one final time this season for Talking Ball with Coach Gut, Jeff Jazeski alongside Coach Mike Gatilius. Coach, the season ends, 3-game winning streak to end the year. You end a roller coaster of a season on a really high note to go 500 or better in 3 straight seasons for the first time in over 20 years. Can you just talk me through how during a season, through those highs and lows that you try to keep everybody level and you keep them on the plane to win 3 straight games at the end of the year after going through some dips in the middle?
Yeah, there's I think you start from the idea of that it's a process and each week is its own entity, and you're just trying to go 1-0 each week. And if you can do that, you kind of just the season takes care of itself, and before you know it, you come out the other end. With that being said, these guys they did a really good job of staying focused on what the job at hand was, and we didn't get off the rails. You have a few losses in a row in the middle there. It's easy for guys to start pointing fingers and saying maybe this isn't right or that's right or why is this guy playing and not me? And we really didn't have that. They all just came to work, and that's why I'm so proud of what they did, especially down the stretch, because they working through a certain number of injuries and some changes at different positions, and they all were just process focused. So that to me is sort of how we kept it going, and that's why we're able to finish on that high note.
We talked about senior day prior to last week's game and all the emotion that surrounds the day and how you kind of lock everybody back in once it comes game time. Now, you look at the results, obviously exactly what we were hoping for, a victory on senior day to end the season on a high note. But you look at some of the performances by some of those key seniors. Another great day for Madden Lowe as he earns Offensive Player of the Week. Another really good performance running the ball from Zach Williams. Preston Jeffrey finds the end zone twice. A couple of key offensive lineman seniors in Javi Oliver and Connor James. And then that's even before turning to the defensive side of the ball, where we got contributions from the likes of Luke Brodigan and Jack Dolan and some of those other seniors that have really just played throughout the year. Can you just talk about how meaningful that is to see those guys excel in what for many of them will be their final college game?
Yeah, I think it was really rewarding to see them not only to win the game, which is the most important thing, but to have good performances, to watch them really play the best game of their career for some of them. And to do that on senior day, it just makes it that much more special, And then for Nico Caceres, who played so much last year, to come back this year and really have a backup role, be able to put him out there at the end so he could take the knee for victory was, really kind of just wrapped it up and was sort of the capstone for it.
And then one guy that we didn't mention who also earned a landmark Player of the Week honor, and Connor Gill, who you put so much responsibility on this year, handling kickoffs, handling some field goals, handling some extra points, while also being, one of the best punters in the conference and in the region. To see him knock in 2 field goals, including a career-long 43-yarder early on in the second quarter, and then also for him to control the field position game the way he does, punting and handling kickoff duties. What was, how meaningful was that for him?
That was, yeah, he was really excited about all that. And, I'm not ready to let Connor go, so hopefully we can get him back. That's a conversation for down the road. But I think having a day like he had sort of whet the appetite for maybe I'm not done playing football. Some of the guys don't have that option. They are done. But for Connor, hopefully we can kind of aim him back because I think we saw some of his ability on that day. It really just stood out.
When you look back at the season as a whole, 5-5, 3-3 in the conference, and again, some big road wins down the stretch, going to Wilkes to win a big game against a team that finished second in the conference, what would you give your overall team grade for this year?
The coach in me wants to sit on that a little bit and go back and do a little more self-scouting. But the way it feels right now is I'd say, you win 3 at the end after a tough stretch. I'd give us a solid B- on the year. I think it wasn't the year we wanted. I felt like we were an A+ team, and we didn't perform at that level. And I've got to look at myself and go back and say, what did I do well? What didn't I do well? What did these guys do well? What didn't they do well? And then how do we take that next step? Because the program, like as you mentioned, we've reached a certain level of that. We're not going to be a losing program. But that's not what all these guys signed up for. They signed up to become champions, and so that's my job, is to really push them forward. So while I can take some satisfaction in the way we finished, I know that really just scratches the surface.
And similarly, obviously, you want to do your self-scout, your self-reflection, and look at the season as a whole. Is there anything that you felt from throughout your career as you've grown as a football coach and grown as a head coach that you can point to and say, I did that better this year than I've done before, or I handled this situation better this year than I have in the past?
I think, and it's not X's and O's. I think what I did really well this year was just engaging with the guys and talking to them one-on-one and enjoying being around them. You can get so focused on the games and the strategies that sometimes you forget. I had one of our guys, his parents is battling a health issue. Got another guy doing it, and I had a guy whose cat died, and that was his only pet he's ever had. Now, I'm not going to mention any names because it embarrassed the heck out of him, but it crushed him. And so I think I did a better job of knowing where all of these guys were on their day-to-day lives, and that was really more rewarding to me than a lot of the other things that happened.
Coach, thank you so much for all your time this season.
Thank you, Jeff.